on record.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our third part of our heart sound recorder discussion with Joseph Antell. Joseph is a nutritional wizard. He has been working with Standard Process for over 40 years. He has been almost single-handedly involved in the development of the heart sound recorder, basically bringing it back to life as a device that was around back in 1930s and 40s. And he has done thousands of these scans on different people across around the world, as well as looking at thousands and thousands more from practitioners like ourselves who go to him for advice on how to discern the findings. So today we're going to dive into some very interesting case studies, some more common things that come our way or just general practitioners' ways related to the heart, and even some things that probably don't seem to be heart related, but they can be addressed very well by looking at the heart in this way with the heart sound recorder. So Joseph, please take it from there.
Thank you, Dr. David. Nice to be with you. And when you go in and see Dr. David or Dr. Lauren, and either they or their staff runs a graph on you, a heart sound recording graph, you can be assured that they're in no way diagnosing anything with your heart. They are using the heart, as I said in my last podcast, as a means to an end. In other words, you're looking through the window of the heart to see what is going on in the entire body, and then applying nutrition to those findings and observations. So this is basically the heart sound recorder is an observational tool. So Dr. David had asked me to just give a couple of cases that I've worked with and help them in their nutrition and strengthening their body, bringing the balance into their body. And please, right up front, if you have something going on in your heart, you should see a cardiologist. If you are looking for nutrition to balance and strengthen your body overall, then you go see Dr. David and Dr. Lauren in their clinic. And they don't not only use the heart sound recorder, but they use other things too, other ways of observing and looking at you in a way that assists them to help you find that greater balance. So this graph, and of course, always the way to tell what is imbalanced is to look at what is balanced. So if you look at this graph, this is the optimal graph. This is perfect. And I'm not going to get into how to read these. That's for your health professional to do. But it's important to know just by this teaching today that you have two heartbeats, and the first one should be twice as high as the second one. And the work period and the rest period should be twice as long. Nature made your heart to sleep, rest, recuperate, revive, twice as much as it works. Truly the blessing of nature. So mainly when we look at someone, one of the first things we want to see when we look at these graphs is how strong the muscles in their body are. And that's what Dr. David and Dr. Lauren do because they're chiropractors. Muscles move bones. And so if you don't have good muscular tone, then you're not going to stay in adjustment. So this is perfect muscular tone. This is the indicator. What is the heart? Most important muscle in the body. So this is a reflection of all the muscles in the body, or many of them. So this particular graph shows, this is the before. And you can see that I said the S1, which is right here, is right here, is right here, should be twice as high as the S2. And what is it? It's backwards, isn't it? It's opposite what it should be. So in this case, in this seminar I was at, because I mainly teach seminars to health professionals, I gave this particular doctor a, uh, a couple of products and had them chew them up and then tested them a few minutes later. So 1240 and then 130. So what's that? Not even an hour. So then I retested him. And you can see that that first to second sound is still off here and here, but look, you see, in less than an hour, it started to come back. Now the second sound is less than the first. And the other thing you'll notice when we look at the ideal graph is 3 peaks, 3 peaks. And you can see here that really two little peaks, one, not even any. Look at the peaks coming back for about 50 minutes, right? 11240, yep, to 130. So there you have it. Isn't that great? And that's how quickly nutrition works. Now, does that work every time with every case? Of course not. And I take a chance in seminars because I have been doing this for 49 years now. And so I have such confidence in knowing these products that they do work 100% of the time. But in all humility, to not be arrogant, of course, I say 90% of the time they work. And I guarantee that over time. The sicker the person is, the longer the nutritional program takes to work. Some programs, you got to have them on for 3 months, 6 months, uh, even up to a year. Some people can never get off of certain supplements because they're so depleted, the reserves in their tissues. And they've had conditions for so long, but they begin to act immediately, less than an hour in this case. And so very important that when you're in the office, if Dr. David or Dr. Lauren wants you to taste a product or chew it up and then retest you, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing to see if you have that positive response where, wow, I feel better already. Now, this is not a cure. This is simply providing the body what it needs so the body comes back into its normal rhythms and balance. Sometimes with these graphs, you pick up in really interesting stories. So this was again, a chiropractor, and I've been taught in at least half the states in this country over the last few years, not with the COVID outbreak. I haven't been on the road, and this was in Utah, a chiropractor, very beautiful older gentleman, practiced chiropractic for 40 years. And he came up to me on the break and said, Joe, because I said in the class that your heart should be so quiet and still. You should never feel your heart. Of course, if you exercise, of course, you feel your heart or your pulse. But if you're laying in bed or you're quiet, you shouldn't even know you have a heart. That's how still it should be. And I mentioned that. So he came up to me, he goes, Joe, I feel my heart all the time. So of course I got him on the graph, and you can see from what I just said, there's the first sound. You don't see real vital 3 peaks, the height to the first to the second, but then look at this weird like rhythm to his heart. S1, S2, the long rest period. Then a good S1, and then look at these extra beats. See it? That's what he was feeling, throwing extra beats. So that is a specific vitamin deficiency that almost clears this within a few hours to a few days. Now, again, if you don't keep taking that product, they can come back because people are eating foods and drinking caffeine and alcohol and other things that are depleting these vitamins and minerals from your body. So this was at 3:30 at the afternoon break. And then I had him chew up a particular product, a B vitamin product that the Dr. Kalowskis carry in their office. And I had him chew up, I believe it was 6 or 8 of them. Remember, though, he said he had had this all his life, since long as he could remember. And he was in his 70s. Long time to be out of balance. So, had him chew those up. At the end of the day, I said, come back up. Come back to my seat in the back. And I checked him again. Look it. And he said, this is the first time since I can remember that I don't feel my heart jumping all over in my chest.
Hmm.
Pretty amazing, huh? Great story. And that's why the Kalowskis do what they do. That's why I do what I do. We love doing this. We love helping people. This this is a calling for us. This isn't just a way to make money. We are there. And then let me just check my time. I'm good. The other thing is sometimes people, you can even take your own pulse. Say you've had a cup of coffee or alcohol or some MSG. You can feel your heart speeding up. And there was a Dr. Coca who actually developed a test where it's called the Coca pulse test, where you take the person's pulse. You can tell if they're having reactions to foods because the heart speeds up to get more blood and other essential nutrients to the place to balance, to get rid of that, to increase metabolism, to get that stuff that it's reacting to out of the body. But if it's going like this all the time, then that's a problem. And this is a very specific vitamin and mineral deficiency, very specific. Remember I said that 2-to-1 ratio has to be there. That's the way nature made us. So if you've got a 1-to-1 ratio here, there's something not right. The brakes need to be put on. And there is a specific mineral called potassium that provides that beautiful braking of the body, slowing it down to come back to balance. And so I worked with this gentleman and he was very fast. He had been fast for a long time. And I gave him only 3 nutrients. And he came back in a few weeks. And as you can see the graph, all balanced out. Now, he had had this a long time in his life. So he's going to have to stay on those nutrients for a long time. And that's simply the way it is because he has a particular deficiency. Now, there are lifestyle changes that Dr. David and Dr. Lauren recommend for you. You have to honor those. You can't be drinking Red Bull every day and alcohol so frequently and eating foods that are just devitalized. They have no nutritive value. And your heart tells you. Isn't that interesting? The sayings that we use? Let your heart tell you. Yes. Is this the right thing for me? Let your heart tell you. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
My father always said, Joe, listen to your heart. And here it is. We get to see it. Of course, you could just, as I said, put your finger on your pulses. And when you come in, David, or you can get a pulse oximeter if you want at the pharmacy and have this do it yourself. But you need that guidance to help you to know what you need to do to correct it with your lifestyle, with your diet, your exercise, your sleep, and the food and the nutrients you're taking in. The other here is a specific nutritional deficiency that we see on the graph where the second sound, of course, that valve is closing, of course, but it's closing so weakly it doesn't even register. So there's another specific nutritional deficiency. And then, as was that original story that I told you a couple minutes ago, you can have people that their heart speeds up here, or it slows down and completely misses beats, which we don't want happening. So that's called an arrhythmic pattern, where you don't have that beautiful the beautiful balance in the rhythm of your heart. And this, again, is a specific nutritional deficiencies. There's no drugs that's going to help. You could, there's other things that can help the heart do that, pacemakers or other things that and sometimes people need those. But you can still use nutrition even with the medical approach. That's why we're here. This is our job. This is our reality. This is what we do. We provide the correct, accurate nutrients to bring back the balance. Of course, you need to check with your someone in medical science if you have these imbalances. That goes without saying, but you can work with both. Do both. Keep in check with your healthcare provider from a medical standpoint and your holistic care provider. And so I think that's enough for now, this little 15-minute time with you. And I will be on again next week and with David with his questions, and we could talk about different conditions and what might help with those specific needs.
Sure.
So Dr. David, thank you so much for letting me share some time with you.
Thank you, Joseph. As you saw here today, people, there are many things that can be related to your heart. We saw just a small fraction. And like Joseph hinted at, it could be with feeling your heart, feeling the race or rhythm of it, if it's going too fast or too slow. But this all plays into your body's energy, whether it's that kind of no energy feeling or nervous energy feeling. It could play into hormonal issues, digestive issues, your cognitive abilities, your mood. So there's so many things that depend on your heart properly functioning. You really need to get this test done to see how you are operating right now, and it's easy to do. If you're catching this before the end of this month, we have one more day of our complimentary heart sound recording event. It's going to be wrapping up this week. If you're watching this after that, then just please know we will have this available for you, and you're more than welcome to call us and have this run at any time. And we just want to be able to give you the assurance you're looking for, that your heart is as healthy as possible. So Joseph, thank you so much. We often say, and we say it so often, it's almost a joke at this point, but we often say that most people don't realize how good their bodies are designed to feel. And so like you showed here also, some people who didn't really have major concerns they knew of, but you found some very significant heart concerns on your end, and were able to easily correct them or guide them the right direction with proper nutrition. So again, we just want to be able to reach out to whoever's watching this and just let you know that we have some answers, and we'd love to be able to be on your team.
Thanks so much, David. Great to be with you as always. And I'll look forward to next week, our time together next week.
All right, thank you.
Okay.